Have you ever wondered what you would sacrifice to save the person you love most? Beatrice Morrison learned the answer the night her brother's life slipped through her fingers. The corridors of Denver General Hospital smelled of disinfectant and cold coffee. Beatrice stood frozen, a cracked plastic cup in her trembling hand, exhaustion carved deep beneath her eyes. At just 24, she already carried the weight of a lifetime. When the doctor finally spoke, his words shattered what little hope remained. Her brother Lucas needed a rare neurological surgery. Without it, he had months to live. The cost was impossible: $800,000. Lucas was only 19, the boy she had raised after their father disappeared. Watching him lie silent among machines, Beatrice made a promise through silent tears. She would save him, no matter the cost. Weeks passed in desperation. She sold her car, her furniture, her memories. She begged banks, charities, strangers online. Nothing came close. One rainy night, alone in an empty apartment, her phone rang. The caller introduced himself as an assistant to Henry Valentine, the coldest, most powerful billionaire in America. He wanted to meet her. At Valentine Biotech's towering headquarters, Beatrice felt painfully out of place. Henry Valentine was everything the rumors said: controlled, distant, unreadable. He didn't waste time. His grandfathers will required him to marry before turning 39 to retain control of the company. He had 90 days left. Henry needed a wife. Beatrice needed money. The offer was brutally simple: a legal marriage, 2 years. Her brother's surgery paid in full. No love, no intimacy, just appearances. When it ended, they would walk away strangers. Beatrice refused. She wasn't for sale, but fate didn't wait. That same night, Lucas's condition worsened. Weeks became days. Sitting beside his hospital bed at 3 in the morning, Beatrice broke. With a shattered voice, she made the call. She accepted. The wedding was a spectacle of wealth and whispers. Surrounded by strangers, dressed in silk she never chose, Beatrice walked alone toward a man who felt as distant as the life she'd left behind. Henry kissed her with the precision of a business deal. Applause filled the cathedral. Love did not. That night, in a luxury suite prepared for a honeymoon neither wanted, Beatrice stood alone before the mirror. A wife by contract, a sister by sacrifice. She didn't know yet that behind Henry Valentine's icy control lived a pain as deep as her own, or that two broken souls had just begun a story neither of them expected. The hot water washed over Beatrice's shoulders, but it couldn't calm her shaking hands. She slipped into the white silk nightgown left for her, simple, elegant, and terrifying in what it represented. When she stepped out, Henry stood by the window, shirtless, his back lit by the city lights. He turned slowly, his gaze sweeping over her with the same cold precision he used in boardrooms. "You're trembling," he said. "I'm cold," she lied. He stepped closer, lifted her chin, his touch impersonal. "This is part of the contract. Consummation." The words felt clinical, empty. Beatrice closed her eyes, reminding herself why she was here. For Lucas. Just a transaction. But when his hand tightened at her waist, something broke. "Stop," she whispered. "It hurts." Tears spilled down her cheeks. Henry froze. His face drained of color. His hands shook. For the first time, fear replaced the ice in his eyes. He pulled away as if burned, grabbed his jacket, and left without a word. Beatrice stood alone, shaking, confused. Just before the door slammed, she saw it. Tears in the eyes of the man everyone called the Iceman. Hours later, Henry sat in a nearly empty bar, whiskey glass clenched in his hand. "It hurts," echoed in his mind. Not Beatrice's voice, but Mariana's. 8 years ago. His fiancée. The woman he ignored, postponed, dismissed. The woman who walked into the rain after telling him he was hurting her, and never came back. She died that night. Henry drank to silence the memory, but it clawed louder. He had sworn never to hurt another woman. That was how the Iceman was born. When he finally returned to the suite, Beatrice was awake. She watched him collapse onto the sofa, broken, drunk, defeated. And when sleep took him, she saw tears sliding down his face. Even asleep, Henry Valentine was crying. Morning light revealed a man nothing like the one she married. Disheveled, hollow, human. When he woke, the mask returned, but it cracked when she confronted him. "You weren't seeing me last night," she said softly. "You were seeing someone else." Silence stretched between them. "Mariana," He finally said, "She was my fiancée. She died." Beatrice didn't ask how. She didn't ask why. She simply took his hand. "I know what guilt feels like," she whispered. "I carry it every day too." For the first time, Henry didn't pull away. He squeezed her hand back. "Maybe," he said quietly, "I underestimated you." And in that moment, both of them realized this marriage was no longer just a contract. "Stay a few more days," he said quietly. "Get to know each other if you want." It wasn't an apology, but it was the closest Henry Valentine could offer. "I'd like that," Beatrice replied. The days that followed were unexpectedly calm. Morning coffee, silent breakfasts, small routines neither of them planned. It wasn't love, but it wasn't emptiness either. When Henry met Beatrice's mother, Helen, everything shifted. She saw through him instantly. She fed him, questioned him, challenged him, and somehow softened him. When she said, "Pain doesn't heal alone," Henry felt something crack inside his chest. For the first time in years, he didn't feel like a machine. Then Lucas's surgery day arrived. Beatrice barely survived the waiting. When Henry showed up late that night with coffee and food, she realized he hadn't come as a billionaire, but as someone who refused to let her be alone. When the doctor finally said the surgery was a success, Beatrice collapsed into Henry's arms, crying freely. He held her, not because of a contract, because he wanted to. For 3 weeks, hope returned. Lucas recovered. Conversations replaced silence. Something unnamed grew between them. Then the truth exploded. Henry's uncle exposed the contract to the media. Headlines turned Beatrice into a villain. A liar. A woman for sale. Hate poured in. Cameras waited outside the hospital. Her family suffered. When Henry came home, Beatrice was already broken. "You knew this could happen," she said. "I only found out this morning," he replied. She laughed bitterly. "My life is ruined. I'll fix it." "You can't buy everything," she whispered. And then she left. That night, a journalist reached out. Not for scandal, but for truth. Beatrice listened. Learned that Henry had paid for the surgery before any contract was signed. Learned he had trusted her when no one else did. At dawn, she made her choice. She called Henry. "I'm doing a live interview. I'm telling the truth." "It could destroy everything," he said. "I know. I'll stand with you." "Why?" "Because you taught me there's more to life than power," he said softly. "And for the first time in 8 years, I don't want to hide behind the ice." Beatrice felt the tears fall, not from pain this time, but from something that finally felt real. "You're getting sentimental for an iceman," she teased through her tears. "Maybe the ice is melting," he replied. And in that quiet 24-hour diner, with burnt coffee and passing traffic, something shifted. This was no longer a contract. It was a choice, one they were both making with open eyes. Days later, under blinding studio lights, Beatrice sat trembling backstage. Henry stood beside her, rigid but present. "You can still walk away," he whispered. "I won't," she said softly. When the cameras rolled, the truth poured out. "Yes, I married for money," Beatrice said. "My brother was dying. I had no other way to save him." She told him everything, the surgery, the contract, the fear. And then the night that changed everything. "I said, stop. It hurts." And he stopped. He left. He cried all night. The studio fell silent. She explained the past Henry carried, the guilt that turned him into ice. "Our marriage began as a lie," she said, "but it became the truest thing I've ever known." When the interview ended, something unexpected happened. Judgment turned into understanding. Applause replaced accusations. And for the first time in years, Henry leaned in and kissed her. Not for appearances, but because he wanted to. The contract was over. Love had begun. Weeks later, with the company safe and his enemies gone, Henry gave her a choice. "You're free to leave." She looked at him and smiled. "And if I don't want to?" That night, in a kitchen filled with a ruined cake and laughter, they chose each other. Without contracts, without fear. Months passed, the apartment filled with life. Coffee every morning, hope everywhere. And one quiet sunrise, Henry finally spoke of the woman he lost, and the walls he built. "You didn't destroy me," Beatrice told him. "You survived." "I love you," he said. "And I love you too." They renewed their vows quietly, surrounded by those they loved most. No cameras, no deals, just truth. Years later, their home was imperfect, warm, alive. And Beatrice sat on the porch, hand resting on her growing belly, knowing one thing for certain. The Iceman had melted, and what remained was love, real, chosen, and strong enough to last. The book had sold over 100,000 copies, not because of the scandal, but because the stories were honest. Because Beatrice had finally found her voice. "You should be resting," Henry said from the doorway. "I am. I'm sitting," she replied. He joined her, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. "What are you reading?" "My own book." "Is that narcissistic?" "Completely," he said with a smile. "You learned from me." They sat in easy silence, watching the dog chase butterflies in the garden. "Do you regret it?" she asked quietly. "Regret what?" "Buying me." Henry considered it, then rested his hand on her belly. "I spent my life buying things that meant nothing. You're the only thing I ever tried to buy, and got for free. Your love wasn't part of any contract. Was it worth it?" He looked at her, his eyes warm, no trace of ice left. "It would have been worth everything." She leaned in to kiss him. "You've gotten sentimental. I married you. That explains it."
His phone rang.
He glanced at the screen, then turned it off. "No meeting today?" she teased. "No," he said, pulling her closer. "Not today." They laughed, holding each other as the sun dipped low. The phone kept ringing inside the house. He ignored it, and Beatrice realized something beautiful. What began with fear and desperation had become a family.
A home.
A love no document could have predicted. She looked at the man beside her, the former Iceman who now cried at movies and argued over baby names. "What are you laughing at?" he asked. "At us." "The best stories," he said softly, "are the ones we never planned." "Then let's keep not planning," she replied. "Forever." And there, on the porch of an ordinary house, with a dog asleep at their feet and a child growing between them, they learned the simplest truth of all. Love doesn't need contracts. It only needs courage, choice, and the willingness to let the ice melt, one day at a time.